I think, one, show the value of those different formats. So one of the interesting things that you can see is that if you create ads that come up in, let's say, the search results or on an influencer website, you're able to show how you can connect more easily with someone. And I think the challenge is, and many digital publishers haven't really demonstrated that value yet of how a business can do this. And as I talked about on a panel, this idea of an ecosystem, how do people interact with it? What are they expecting to see? And I think that's a key challenge, is that people aren't thinking about what's the benefit for the consumer and trying to promote it and tell people what they want to say. Yeah, it's a very interesting thing is that's with the web, people can choose very quickly. With social media, we can choose who we want to follow. And most times we choose who we want to follow because of what they say. If they only say, I'm going out to have a meal with my friends, that's not important to me. But if they say, here's a great study about something, or here's a great piece of information. And I think content creators, whether it be a company, a publication, use this medium as a way to communicate with people. What do people want to know? And there's enough signals, whether it's search query volume or conversation or posts about different topics, that you can use that totally to understand what kind of content you want to create. Because again, it's like the analogy would be a restaurant. You're willing to try a restaurant the first time, but if you go to that restaurant and it's not very good, two things are going to happen. One, you're probably not going to go back, and nor will you recommend it to friends. So the same is with content, because there's other people like you, and I think that's where social media comes in, is that these are sort of groups of people that share interests. And so the same thing is with written content. It's very important that we connect and that it is quality and it is relevant. Yeah, absolutely. I think that we're seeing in the US and in Europe that companies are definitely telling people content's available. I think a great example of this is the New York Times. One of the things that's very popular is on the New York Times website is what articles have been forwarded to people. So they have that great little tool there that says these are the top 5 or top 10 articles people have forwarded. So that's a great proxy for how good the content is. So you could do that on your site if it's relevant. Are people forwarding it on? And if you measure that and tell people. So things like that, the New York Times and them will actually take those lists and they'll tweet about it, or they'll put out some sort of information saying, of the hundreds of stories we wrote yesterday, these 5 were the ones that people sent with others. And they need to brag a little bit. They need to tell people about some of the brilliant content that they have. So I think Ford did a great job. They do social media extremely well. Some of the other food companies I think have done a great job, like Subway restaurants, trying to integrate all forms of digital with couponing. KFC, definitely in the US, has done a lot with Twitter notices about, they're giving this away from this period to this period, from 10 to 12. Come in, we'll give you popcorn chicken. So I think they've done a great job of introducing people to products and services.